In terms of, or let's talk about this semester because it's kind of crazy, right?
This
What
is pretty crazy.
what classes are you teaching right now, and how is that going? Distance wise.
So I'm the interim director this semester, so I'm only teaching one class, and my class is an intro to photo class. So photo is really pretty easy to create to transfer to an online class because while our students were just about to start working in the darkroom, which is a drag because they were using film cameras and they just learned to develop film, been in the dark twice. We reverted back to using digital cameras, or they've been using a lot of them been using their phones because not all of them had digital SLRs with them. So it's actually gone pretty smoothly for me. I have a really wonderful class. My students are this semester, I think about half the students are not majors or minors in art, so they're from all over the campus. But there are really the people. They've really put a lot of energy and effort into it. We've been meeting once a week just to check in and see how they're doing. We actually did a critique face to face on Monday that went really well. And it's actually it is what it is, but considering the class that I'm teaching and the students that I'm working with, it's worked out pretty well considering.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, it's what in terms of the darkroom, because I always think that's an interesting feat or part of photography that we don't get to, not everybody explores anymore, and that's something that we do that's special that not a lot of schools in photography I feel like are doing anymore. So what's that process to work in a dark room to make photography come to life?
Sure. When I started teaching photography, the darkroom was all there was,
Mhm.
and then we gradually transitioned to adding a little bit of digital, and then digital, of course, became our primary way of working. And but we've really been committed over the years to keeping at least some darkroom in the program for a number of reasons. The obvious reasons are it's really good for students to know what the origins of photography are and to kind of know where things came from. But it's also really good for students to just have other choices.
Mhm.
Digital photography is just one way to do photography, but there's so many ways that photography, which literally means painting or drawing with light, there's so many ways that photography can be explored that we want to give students a wide range of options. So we continue at this point to keep a little bit of darkroom in their intro to photo class. And then we have an intermediate class that's all darkroom for the most part. And then we introduce them to film cameras, and then they can use any of that in the advanced classes. And so yeah, the darkroom is the students surprisingly really enjoy the darkroom more than you would think. It's a really slow process compared to working with a digital camera. You don't see what you took until after you finish the roll, you develop the film, you let the film dry, you make a contact sheet. Then you get to see the results of what you shot. Was it in focus or not? Is it what I wanted? And I kind of expect that students coming in won't like it for some reason, and I'm always pleasantly surprised that they're much more excited about the darkroom than I think they're going to be.
Yeah, well, I was going to say probably a lot of the students don't even they don't remember the, Kodak camp throwaway cameras and all that,
No,
I was used to
not at
using
all.
most of my life. So,
No, no, not at all. They don't know. They know of photography in just sort of a vague way. I think the most that occasionally there'll be one whose parents had a film camera and did some film shooting. And some of them bring that film camera in when we do the film photography. So they've got these like 1970s camera straps that they come in with, which are really fun. So there are a few, and they can, and their parents are, they'll tell them about, what they did in photography, and that's kind of fun. So there's that connection, but a lot of them don't know anything about it. But by and large, the students seem to really enjoy it.
yeah, it's one of those things that vintage type things that come back into popularity, I feel like. So that's
Sure, absolutely. And to be honest, if you look at photography today, there was a brief period where pretty much everything was digital.
Mm.
And now we've sort of shifted and kind of opened things up so that there are a lot of photographers who work back and forth between digital processes and analog processes. So there are a lot of people that might say shoot a 4x5 camera, shoot film, and then process that film and then scan the negatives, and
Mm.
then use those scans to make large scale digital prints. A lot of that's going on. There are a lot of people who use film cameras for the palette, for the grain, the aesthetics of the grain. There are lots of reasons that people really enjoy continuing to work with film. So as long as that's going on, we're going to keep, keep introducing it to students and giving students that opportunity.